Okay, next one on the list, Introduction to OneWeb. Ready for service in 2021.
Yes, sir.
Ria de Silva.
Correct.
OneWeb.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hi, my name is Rui. I know it's very complicated, but it's a very Portuguese name. So I have the task to take you on the journey that is OneWeb, right? I joined the company 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, we were an idea on the paper. We didn't exist. We had a tiny, 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 tiny office in Washington, D.C. No birds in the sky, no facilities, nothing. It was just an idea. And an idea that now become a reality. And now I'm going to take you on this journey that is, who are we? What's OneWeb? What are we bringing into the market? And why are we so disruptive compared to what exists in the world? Hopefully it will work. There we go. All right, so what makes us different, right? When we come into the table, we want to be a little bit disruptive. We don't want to do the same thing that other players have been doing in the market because they already be doing that and doing it very well. So we needed to be different. So we decided to create a low Earth orbit constellation with high throughput capacity for broadband connectivity. What does it mean? It means the fact that latency from an industry expert point of view becomes a key point on a selling way. Why? Because industry is moving into cloud computing. Everybody wants to do streaming, everybody wants to do gaming, everybody wants to be connected, and time-sensitive applications become crucial on this time and on the latency side. So by putting a constellation around 1,200 kilometers and giving 50 milliseconds of low latency, we position ourselves as a constellation that allows companies, markets, countries, operators, and users to get a bunch of connectivity that until now the existing constellations were not able to provide because of the distance they were to the Earth, because the type of configuration they have. So OneWeb is just not an idea that would say, oh, let's just put some birds in the sky. No, OneWeb become an idea of, yeah, let's do something to become a reality. When I joined, we were 40 people. I look back, we are 350 now. I go to London office, I don't know 90% of the people, and it's not because I'm a shy person, on the opposite, it's because we're hiring and keep hiring and growing as a company. Gaming, vaulting, cloud computing allows OneWeb to bring all these type of markets a reality. So we're not just doing the same thing as the others were doing, we're incrementing and making sure that the business is growing. All right, so where are we now? From a summary perspective, we raised 3.4 billion of capital until now. As a shareholders, we don't have just shareholders. They're part of our core NDA, right? We have Airbus building the satellites in partnership with us. We built recently a factory in Florida, so we control the supply chain of the satellites. We have Qualcomm building the chipset. We have Hughes building the gateways. We have Arianespace involved on the launch. And from a distribution perspective, we have Intelsat, we have Grupo Salinas, we have Bharti Airtel, and we have SoftBank, which are the industry key leaders on the mobile network operators that can bring into OneWeb the expertise that we need for the distribution, right? By putting 650 satellites, in reality it's 588 plus the remaining 4 spare parts. We'll be providing full global coverage, and we're going to provide 50 milliseconds of low latency operating Ku band between the user terminal and Ka band between the gateways. So from a timeline perspective, in 2012 we got the spectrum allocation, right? And then in 2015, 2017, we completed the Series A and B of funding. It also should mention there that I was hired during this period. It's not there, but it should. In 2018, we got the GNOX and SNOX completely built out in London and in DC. In February of 2018, last year, during the Mobile World Congress, and 2018 we built the first satellites. This year, in February 2019, we launched the first 6 satellites from the French Guiana during the Mobile World Congress. Our factory was inaugurated in August, and we start the mass production of the satellites by September. Our factory in Florida allows to produce 6 to 8 satellites per week, so which allow us to control all the process of the satellite production. We expect to have the first user terminals available by 2020. Customer trials started in 2020 as soon as we start replenishing the planes and the satellites in the space. And by 2021, we expect to have global service available. So why are we ahead of the rest? Well, the fact that we put the satellites in space, so it was in February. By May, the first of the 6 satellites reached 1,200 kilometers. By June, the satellite number 6 got their orbit altitude. In August, we got the spectrum into use. What does it mean? It means that we were able to make a connectivity between a user terminal, the satellite, and the gateway. This translates into the fact that we have priority spectrum allocation. So whoever comes operating in the same type of constellations that OneWeb is doing needs to coordinate with OneWeb access to that spectrum because we have priority in accessing that. So here you have a little bit of a video of our factory in Florida. It's a modular production. That's why it's so easy. If you look into the way the satellite is being built, it's just adding modules on top of modules, which allow us to go from 6 to 8 satellites. And they looked, if you have the chance, and by all means, I'm happy to invite you to our headquarters in London. The first thing you come to the office in London, it's a massive satellite replica in the entrance. So here it's a ground station. This is in Svalbard. By the way, I don't recommend you to go to Svalbard without a machine gun because of the polar bears. You're not allowed to leave the city. So if you go to Svalbard, we're going to see one of our main gateways. We have 42 spread around the world. They have been strategically located to make sure we have optimum coverage around the globe. So in Europe, for example, we're going to have Portugal, we have one in Italy, we have one in Norway, we're going to have 3 in Russia, and then we're going to have a couple of them in US, and then eventually in Turkey for regulatory operations. And they're being located in a way that we're going to get optimum coverage to provide the full global coverage we need. All right, there was supposed to be a video here. I'm not sure if it's going to work. But in a nutshell, I'm going to go back because I like to explain this. So in a nutshell, if you look into the globe, right, what you see, what looks like a Venetian blindfolds, it's actually how a satellite is going to look into the space. So a satellite has 16 beams, and each beam has a specific capacity, right? And then we're going to have a plane. A plane is what we call a polar orbit. So we're going to have one polar orbit like this, and we're going to have 12 around the planet Earth. Some going to go from north to south, some from south to north, flying 1,200 kilometers, and with beam overlapping from top to bottom, left to right, allowing that there is no beam handover problem. There is seamless connectivity. Either you're on the move or fixed, you'll be able to have broadband connectivity anywhere where you go. So this is how the video is. It's not playing, but I'm happy to explain. Right, so which markets we support? Obviously, there's no free lunch, as we can say it normally in English, right? So this is a commercial company, and we need to operate in specific market sectors to make sure that we get enough money to make sure that we can invest and keep progressing. We have launched 6 satellites. We're talking about generation 1, but we're already designing the 2nd generation of the satellites, right? The markets we're looking to operate at are enterprise. Why? Well, there's a big opportunity on the enterprise market. First, because in situations where there's no infrastructure, obviously the fiber-like experience that OneWeb brings into the table with the high connectivity and the low latency allows that OneWeb to be the first response or the first mean of use in case of need. Second thing is the backup, right? By providing the same type of similar connectivity as a fiber optic infrastructure, you can have full redundancy on an enterprise level, which allows companies that use ERPs, CRMs, cloud-based computing solutions to be connected while if the main system is not working. From an enterprise point of view, also you can put the main system on optic fiber, the system goes down, OneWeb enters as a backup plan, which allows the connectivity of the company to be 24/7 on a full redundancy system. I will do my best. Maritime, obviously, historically, they are traditionally satellite communication users. Now they're looking into expanding the way they're doing the traditional communications by putting the system operations, the crew welfare, and the navigation systems. So putting a bunch of metrics that are not being supported by the existing technologies due to the fact that we have the low latency. Aviation, more and more we fly on planes, more and more we're becoming a global village. Obviously, we want to be connected all the time. It's not the first time I take a flight on Emirates and everybody's connecting their phone and going on WhatsApp and trying to see what's their Instagram updated. Obviously, there's a cost for an airline, but there's a benefit also for the airline and for the passenger. Government, civil, and military. Obviously, military for the bellic reasons, but the civil government, first response, schools, remote locations that operators do not want to put infrastructures to supply the local government bodies. It's a type of connectivity. And cellular backhaul. For me, it's probably one of the most interesting from all the markets we operate. Traditionally, mobile network operators look to satellite backhaul as an emergency, as a need, as an inexpensive mean of expanding their network. That's not what we're doing. We're not competing with anyone. We're just complementing the fact that now operators can look into the way they manage their network into an operation perspective, rather than I need to have a high density populated area to make sure I can migrate my 3G to 4G or 4G to 5G antennas without the need of having a high volume of data being transmitted there. And that's where we fit perfectly, because now they can look and say, oh, I can expand my service there, even if I don't have much traffic, because I'm going to pay as you go and without having a fixed cost if I don't have any traffic going there. Right, so I already spoke a little bit, so from a backhaul perspective, it's cost effective, pay as you go, it's depending on the usability, supports 5G, 3GPP compliance, obviously we want to be in the market, therefore we need to comply with them, simple solution, plug and play, and it's ideal for small cells. Again, we're not here to compete with BTS that are infrastructure in the middle of Istanbul, but probably the antennas that are in Antalya that have a very low traffic and very low density populated area, but still people wanted to have service. It's a good fit for the operators. Right, so again, because I don't have much more time, this is one I already spoke a little bit, so this is a little bit how we want to go as a complementary, as an add-on and as an enhancement of existing networks or service providers. Right, so we can upgrade, we can extend, and we can enhance the existing networks. And we improve the connectivity deployment. The fact that the low latency here plays a key role. For whoever is in the market and knows how, if I want to have a SAP account and I wanted to access remotely, it's very difficult because they're very time sensitive. And this allows connectivity deployment immediately and fast solutions. All right, so effective backup, support all enterprise, fast deployments, and managed service from an enterprise point of view. Simple, competitive, fast, and rich. All these are not just nice words that we put. No, this is our values and principles that OneWeb is achieving. We understand that most companies don't have engineers to install infrastructure, so we make it sure it's simple and plug and play. We want to make sure that it's cost effective, because no one wants to pay for something is not using or for a link that is not being available, and we want to make sure that it's immediately and fast deployable. And that's pretty much it. I think I finished on my time.